Hey guys, I'm here to talk about the character Speedy, um, the Mia Dearden incarnation of the character. I'm doing this because of tonight's episode Smallville, which will introduce the character. If you don't know anything about the character, I'll just give you. That's what this video is about, just to give you guys an introduction of the character and what happens in her life and things like that. I had a book that introduced her, and I went back and reread it the last few days. I didn't read it all at once. I just read a few issues at a time. The book is called Green Arrow Quiver, is what it was called. It was the reintroduction of Green Arrow. Ollie had been dead in the comics for a while, and they brought him back, and I'm not going to get into that story, but during that time, when he came back, the character of Mia was introduced, who eventually became his sidekick, Speedy. Okay, so here's the deal with the character Speedy. Speedy was not a girl at first. There's been two characters who have played the part of Speedy. I think that it's only been two. The first was Roy Harper. That was Green Arrow's first sidekick. He's been around just about as long, if not as long, as Green Arrow. It was Roy Harper. He was, Green Arrow back in the day. He was just a copycat of Batman, and Speedy played the part of Robin. But whenever the comics got more serious, the first Speedy, Roy, he ended up having an addiction to heroin, I believe it was. So that kind of stuff, he was addicted to drugs, and Green Arrow, Ollie kicked him out, and that was something that he dealt with, where he kicked out the guy who was like his son. That's just something in his past that he hates. I just had to deal with. Whereas, it goes to show that he's not a perfect guy, and some of the bad things that we've seen on Smallville lately, those are kind of some traits that he would do. But anyways, back to Mia. In the book, it starts off at a party, and this 15-year-old girl shows up, and it's at a politician's house, and she's been brought there for the politician. She was a hire prostitute, and she goes there, and the guy basically tries to take advantage of her. She doesn't want to do it, but Green Arrow shows up. He takes out all of the guys at the party. The politician that was going after her, he beats up, lets the girl go, and the politician is left to get caught with the police with drugs and everything. But then Mia goes back to her apartment, and there's a guy in the comic. I don't remember his name. It was basically her pimp, but he didn't say it like that. Okay, the guy's name is Richard, and basically it says that he took her off the streets, and that she is grateful for it, but she can't understand. He says he loves her, and that he feeds her, and he does all this stuff, and he just has a few things that he wants her to do every once in a while. Those things include sleeping with other men. She doesn't want to be a prostitute. This is the lifestyle she was forced into. She says, "If you love me, then why did you have me do these things?" And he gets real mad and everything, and he tries to kill her for other reasons, but she gets back at him, kicks his butt, beats him up, leaves him with a cut hand, and goes to the Star City, I don't know, place for kids, I can't think of the exact name, to help homeless kids or whatever, the youth center. And Ollie, she immediately knows that it's Ollie. The way that she knows it is because of his beard, his goatee. You see how it's different? He has a goatee in the comics. She's like, how do you you don't even talk differently as Green Arrow, and look at that goatee. Do you think I'm an idiot? And so he ends up taking her in. They go through some obstacles in their life. Eventually she finds the bow and arrow, starts practicing on it. She's trained, you know, she's already got some fighting skills, but she's trained by Black Canary. You guys know Black Canary from Smallville. And I'm just trying to make sure I get all this right. So she gets trained with some more fighting skills, and then she finds out that she's HIV positive because of her prostitute lifestyle. Well, you know, she begs and begs Ollie to let her be his sidekick, but he won't do it. And I didn't read the exact issue where he said, okay, you can do it, but eventually he does let her become his sidekick, Speedy. And she works closely with some other heroes. She eventually joins the Teen Titans, which is a group of, it started out as a group of sidekicks. All the sidekicks, like Robin and Wonder Woman's sidekick, Wonder Girl, and then there was Speedy, and then there was Kid Flash, which is the Flash's sidekick. But eventually that group grew, and she goes and joins the group. You know Cyborg from Smallville, he's a big part of it. So yeah, and you know, the girl, she's gone through a lot of different changes. She's had some bad things happen in her life. But yeah, she's just really set apart from other heroes because she's HIV positive, and she has to be careful whenever she gets into fights or things, you know, because if she bleeds or whatever, whenever she gets into combat, she has to just be really careful, and it's impacted her relationships. She actually ends up dating, I believe, Green Arrow's sidekick, who is Connor Hulk, who takes over the Green Arrow mantle when his father dies, but his father comes back, as I said, eventually. That's a long story I'm not going to get into. But I just want to give you guys a little idea of the character. Later on in the season, she'll be here this episode, and then she should be in another episode, which I'm looking forward to, that's Green Arrow centered. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about her, or if you want to talk about her, just let me know. If you got any questions, or if you want me to do a review on anything else, let me know. I'm up for suggestions. Alright, thanks guys.